Welcome back, my brothers and sisters. SETH Dark Arts, once again, 31st video. And class is back in session. Yeah, I know. Where have you been? You disappeared, you deserted us, but I haven't left y'all. I'm always here. I'm always around. And I contact a lot of people through their dream states. Might not be me necessarily, but it'll be a thought form of me. I got a lot of thought forms that project out, and they might reach some of y'all, they might not, but don't worry. You have your own energy that's always with you. And if you come across me in one of your travels, like I said, it could be me, could be your projection of a thought form of me, but either way, regardless, the message is still intact. Yeah. I've been busy over here in Japan, man. Me and a fellow soul brother over here has been trying to... We had a mission, man, and what we were trying to do is... Because people need help over here in Japan, man. They're not hip to none of this stuff that a lot of viewers out here like yourselves are watching. They don't know about none of this. They're not down with the consciousness game or reality and altered states and all this. So, me and a friend of mine, we're trying to write up a type of free paper, which it's not really nothing major. I mean, like as far as production, just maybe like 2-3 articles, but they're gonna be in English and translated into Japanese. And from there, we want to get this information out to the people. Just put them around in bookstores, bars, wherever they could get to the people, and let them really just introduce them to all this, man, because I'm quite sure, and I met there are a few individuals over here who are hip to this, but even if they are, they're not really deep, like going as deep as I want to take, But yeah, so that's what I've been into over here. And not to mention that, been on my own capabilities, advancing, as always. And have I got stories to share with all of you, of course, quite naturally. And I hope all of you have been keeping up with your training and your studies of yourself. When I say studies, I don't mean necessarily book studies, but I mean studying yourselves. And yeah, before I start getting into me, a few things I just want to talk about real briefly. One of them is, and I got a few things written down so I don't skip off and forget them. It's about information, man. Information that you've learned through elementary school, junior high school, university, whether other information, whether it came from science or information that comes from your religious background. All these things have a purpose. And I know a lot of people, including myself before, like you get really pissed off, man, because it's like, fuck, man, these motherfuckers have been lying to us, man. I learned a lot of bullshit in school. I went through all these years of school and never heard one time nobody talking about conscious dreaming and the ability to control things and alter states of consciousness and just all these topics that I get into. And we've never even heard about this stuff, man. They're telling us some nonsense about Christopher Columbus and, all this BS. So, but all those things have a purpose. And the purpose is to teach you, trying to see what I put down here. Yeah, you're supposed to use that information that you can analyze it against your own subjective and objective experiences. So it's kind of like a lesson in people who make up their own shit as they go along, man. And we've all heard a lot of nonsense, like Christopher Columbus found America. I mean, how can you find something when people's already living there? I mean, that's like walking on the streets. Like, all right, I found this car. I discovered it. It's my car now, man. It's like, well, you can't discover something if there's already inhabitants living there. And we have these completely ridiculous celebrations that are actually celebrations in death and annihilations of entire cultures and civilizations, man. So, yeah, this is why these things are important. We learn them so that now at your level of development, you can sit back and say, damn, man, reality really isn't what they tell us it is, man. They just basically make up shit and just make up their own storylines, and we just go along with it. And the thing is, You don't have to go along with this stuff, man. So, yeah, that's what that's all about. Analyzing everything that's happening in this reality. You analyze it up against your own experiences, because what's happening is a lot of people out here, the stories that they have been getting, and when I say that, I mean all of us, the stories that we've all been getting from day one, from the moment we could start remembering things and being taught, and the stories we're getting from religious beliefs, they're not correlating with our actual experiences. So you have people saying, all right, well, the power of Jesus Christ, the Bible says this, this, and that. But goddamn, I had a lucid dream last night, and I was in another reality speaking with entities, or I was in an alternate parallel universe that was exactly like this one, but slightly different. So when you start encountering stuff like that, you're like, well, that wasn't in the Bible. Or, I didn't learn that in high school. And these people, so-called intellectuals, or whatever areas of knowledge they come from, whether it be science, religion, or whatever, they'll come through and they'll be like, yeah, well, this is what your experience was. It's like, what do you know? You don't know anything. How could someone, what's the word I'm looking for? How could someone try to discredit your own personal experience? Wow, sorry, I spit flying out my mouth. Little CG there for you guys. But yeah, anyway, but yeah. So, damn, man, I got a few things on my iPad here, but the iPad seems to be dying. I'm on 5%, so let me just cover some of this shit so I can get it out the way. Another thing I wanted to touch on was, yeah, why do I use profanity, man? All this stuff of profanity, bad words, bad language. Look, profanity has its purposes. I'm not saying you gotta walk around sounding like a sailor, but it has its purpose, because when you use it, it gets the point across even deeper. And when I talk about other realms, it's like, yeah, I could simply say, yes, when you start experiencing with these other realms of consciousness, you will experience some pretty strange stuff. And that's good. Some people might get it. But for other people, they might say, well, that's interesting. And then they'll just forget it. And then if I say, when you use your inner senses and you go within and you start experiencing with alternate states of consciousness, you're going to experience and come in contact with some pretty fucking weird shit. Now, that's true. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but I use that choice of words so people say, oh man, goddamn, pretty weird fucking shit. That sounds interesting. I want to get into that. And that's why I use that. That will burn more into your memory than some real flowery language. And like I just said, that stuff, you will experience some pretty fucking weird shit when you start going into these other states, but I'm not saying that to make you paranoid or afraid. These things are also learning experiences to show you that consciousness, the complete vast power of creativity, basically anything you think of will manifest. Any reality that you've ever thought about, any weird idea you ever come across, these things actualize into other realities. So if you thought about, wonder what it would be like to have a potato that had legs like a spider and weird shit like that, that shit manifests, man. And when you go to sleep at night, these things are created. They manifest themselves, and they'll be your creation, and you've just brought that up. But it doesn't end there. Once you come back to this reality, spider-like potato guy continues on his fucking merry way, and he enjoys the rest. He starts creating himself. So we are also the birth parents of pure creativity. All of our thoughts, we seed beliefs into the universe. We seed other children, whether they be in the form of a human form or anything else, other life form, but we seed these things into existence with the power of our own thoughts, creativity, and imagination. So that's why they say you have to be careful with the thoughts you have, because you actualize these things. And when you actualize these ideas, the closer they come to your level of actuality, which is in physical reality, they can become manifest on a much easier level. So just say, example, if you're thinking about scary monster, Freddy Krueger, or something like that, that's not really going to manifest for you. That stuff could fuck with you in the dream realm, the astral realm, but as far as physical reality goes, Freddy's not going to just pop out of nowhere. Now, if you're thinking about negative stuff such as, my life, I'm a loser, and I can't get a job, that's more closer to this physical reality's experience, and those type of things would manifest faster. So yeah, that's some things I want to get in. Just wanted to bring up for you as far as that. I'm on 4%. All right, hold on. Moving along. All right, let's see. I'm excited. I haven't made a video in a minute. So I got high tension right now, man. Been having too much fun. Let's see. Physical reality. All right, this is something I wrote down. You know, I get these intense thoughts. They just pop into my head out of nowhere. This was on December 28th, 2013, 9 a.m. in the morning. Most likely I just woke up, had a powerful experience, just started writing. What did I write here? It said, physical reality is actually a safety zone for consciousness to return to during training of consciousness expansion and co-creator training. By using the physical senses, they narrow down the focus of attention by blocking out the multidimensional focus of the individual. When the personality begins to lose its sense of self, becoming too involved in its creation, it may begin to forget that they are actually the creators of their experience. Physical reality acts as a safe place of refuge for the personality to retreat to in order to regain its sense of control and focus. So-called nightmares occur when the personality has lost control of its creative abilities and has fallen victim to the fear of its own manifestations. God damn. Now you could go back later, watch that, play it back, get into it more if you want to. But that's the type of stuff I wake up to. Boom, wake up 9 in the morning. All right, boom, I got this idea. Put it down. And that's the type of stuff I be dealing with on a regular. It's just something I want to throw at you. So basically, what I was getting into is physical reality simply is it's like a safety zone for us, man, because we are learning to control energy which is ourselves. And in order to learn to control this energy, we need to have a kind of many people need to have a kind of safety zone to come back to, because without this safety zone here, like this kind of in-between place, which is called physical reality, a lot of people have no control, so they'll basically just be bouncing around between their different manifestations, creating other realities, bugging out because they don't know what's going on, and they can't really control themselves. And they can create some pretty wild stuff, maybe even terrifying for the individual and entity, which is yourselves. So example, you have a really crazy dream experience, you're panicking, you got a rapist at your doorstep or whatever, and then you wake up, so, oh my God, it was a dream, okay, I'm safe. See, a lot of people are down on physical reality, man, because they're like, oh, I can't manifest things here, and I hate this place, it's limited, and we don't have all our abilities, and yeah, I know that could be a drag, man, but it's like, for a lot of people, they need this place, because, trust me, when you're in a dream sequence, or some trip, where you got a gang out to get you, and you're not powerful enough to handle those type of entities or those thought forms, which are your own. No one's trying to get you. Remember that. There are no demons. But if you manifest these things and you can't control them, you're very lucky and very happy to wake up in your own bed and you're like, oh my God, thank God, I'm back. It was just a dream. It wasn't just a dream, as I told you. It's just a play on words. There are no dreams. Everything's a reality. It was just a reality in a different level of actuality. So yeah. 3%. Hold on, let me get up here. What else I want to get out before this shit dies on me? Alright, so we covered that about nightmares. Yeah, alright. Just want to touch on this because this was important. Oh, sorry. I'm moving the camera around. People get into statistics, mathematics, and try to explain things. I'm talking about scientists and all these people out here. Statistics provide an artificial, predetermined framework in which reality is examined. And mathematics is simply a theoretical organized structure that of itself imposes our ideas of order and predictability. So what I mean by all that is statistics and mathematics are not real. You cannot use this reality's mathematics when you start crossing into these other states of consciousness. They don't correlate with each other. And this is why people have trouble, man. I be laughing looking at some of these people on the internet or these talks, these quantum physicists. They have these big, massive blackboards or whiteboards, man. They're drawing all these diagrams and all this high-level mathematics that the average Joe can't understand. And I just be looking, man, because I'm like, where are they going with this? Because I just saw this article, And you see them sporadically pop up here and there. And it's like, scientists find that other realities. But it was something weird. Like, it was something like scientists discover that out of body experiences are real. And it was in some science magazine, like as if this was the shit that just hit the fan. And it's like, well, I've been saying that for God knows how long. And people have been saying this for centuries before any of us even got here. So my point is, don't rely on science to bring you anything, man. They're not going to bring you anything. They're not bringing nothing to the table. You can sit around for your whole life, which is just this lifetime, the span of 80 years or something like that, waiting for science to make a breakthrough and tell you something that you already know. I don't need science, and you don't need science to tell you, okay, science says out-of-body experiences are real. Oh, yes, all right, they admitted it. Fuck that, man. You can do this already. You don't need this. And I'm going to get into some more about that with science in a minute, but yeah. These statistics and mathematics are all just theoretical frameworks for us to play around with and have fun, but even if they do say, well, it does prove this and it does prove that, yeah, only in this reality. It's the only place this shit makes sense. The moment you step out of physical reality, once you go beyond the physical senses, that's it. Everything here that you've learned is useless, pretty much, because they don't match up. They don't correlate with the experiences. So yeah, 2%. All right, let me see. Let's skip anything here. Yeah, the final thing I wanted to just joke on was people's belief systems, man. Like, I had somebody call me the devil or some shit on YouTube. I don't know. They put it on my YouTube. It was the video I made about when I encountered the thought form of Jesus. And they were basically like, it wasn't Jesus. You deceived my brother. It was an evil spirit. And I'm like, look, man, check this out. I'm not trying to knock anybody's beliefs, but if you're going to say, like, a lot of people would say, all right, well, everything you're talking about, this is fantasy. Okay, I can respect that everything is fantasy, but why do you think it's fantasy? Well, because the Holy Bible said this. If you're going to use the Bible, the Quran, or any religious belief to try to discredit what I'm saying, that's like using one fantasy model to discredit another fantasy model. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're going to use one fantasy to discredit another fantasy, man. The only difference is I know where my information is coming from. It's coming from myself and my own subjective and objective experiences. Where's yours coming from? A book that nobody knows who wrote these things. Nobody knows where they came from. They've been changed so many times. The information is completely discredit. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm getting excited now. When I get excited, I lose my train of thought. But it's not credible. That's what I was trying to say. The information is not credible. So, not credible in the sense of it's just a book. I mean, we don't really know what's going on with these religious stories. We go by what we read and we think, well, this is the word, but we don't know where these things come from. I'm simply telling you to go within yourself. Any information that you get that comes from yourself is true information. Yeah. Getting information from books. Like, you look at the priests, the Vatican, the Pope. These people don't know anything. They're not even, they don't even have contact with, the higher force of all that is. Because if they did, a lot of things would be different. They're also running on book stories. So, yeah. You got to go within, man. Your own experience is the only true authority. Yourself. These people standing on lighter stages telling you what God is, or they don't know anything. It's just their own interpretation. The same goes for science. You have some scientists, man, these quantum physicists or whoever, they're sitting in a laboratory, and they're going, they're sitting in a laboratory. Excuse me, I gotta sit down, man. Legs getting tired. But yeah, they sit in these laboratories, and then they're like, they look through these microscopes and things, and they're like, oh, well, and they write these long essays and stories and books, and they're like, this is what consciousness is. And it's like, no, it's not. That's simply your limited view perception, excuse me, of what consciousness is from your level of understanding. It's not what consciousness is, because you can't see what consciousness is by just looking through a microscope or analyzing things or destroying things and trying to see what's going on when you destroy them. All this stuff is camouflage. Excuse me. Everything you see with the five physical senses, all these things with the five senses are simply camouflage patterns. Camouflage meaning it's not real. It's not the real reality of what's going on. It's simply interpretations that we make because we're using the five senses. This is why a lot of people get confused, because they'll have an out-of-body experience, and let's say they go to bed or they go in a deep meditation trance state. They go out of body, and then they'll be like, well, wow, I came out of my body, it was so real, but my room was slightly different. Like the walls were a little bit changed, or like, the table wasn't where it should be. And it's like, that's explainable because it's like, well, you're not in your body. Exactly. You're having an out-of-body experience. So out-of-body means not using your five senses. You're now using your inner senses. And with the inner senses, every perception is different. And not only that, you alter reality around you. And you're altering reality according to your own powers and the power of your imagination and belief. So you are in the same room. You're just in the same room or in the same... I don't like the word space because space is not real, but you know what I'm trying to say. You're within the same moment point, but within a different frame of reference. That's what I'm trying to get across. So, excuse me. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get across with that. So, let's see. Now that my iPad has died, where am I going to go from here? The mysteries of life. Okay. Now, what have I been up to? I know you say, oh boy, here he goes. He's had a powerful experience. But you know me. I got powerful experiences daily. But I had a really powerful experience. And I don't want to make it sound like a Christmas story. But goddamn, it happened on Christmas, man. It happened on Christmas Day. Yo, check this out. I had an argument with somebody. Now, I don't argue with anybody, but you got to really watch these people, man, who try to pull you into their paradigm of belief. And sometimes they have a pretty fucked up worldview where they just... good people generally, but, they can't come to terms with their own reality and their own states of consciousness. So, long story short, misery loves company, man. People want to just pull you in with them. They're unhappy, so fuck it, everybody's going to be unhappy too, So I had this kind of dispute with somebody, which wasn't really a dispute. It was me chilling, and I had it out with this person, man. They had it out with me. I was just chilling, relaxing. I ended up in a bar on Christmas Day. There was no customers. It was like two staff, and one old Japanese guy was just looking at me. This person's wilding out, and I'm just chilling like, yo, man, it's Christmas. Take it easy. So they got mad and left me in this bar. And this is how, when you understand your powers, man, everything is just a joke. Everything's comedy. So, this person walked out, and the moment they left, this song came on. It was like, all by myself, shit like that. Don't wanna be. So I was like, this is fucking funny, man. I'm in a bar in Japan on Christmas Day, me and one old guy over here, eating some fish and chips or something, and the song All By Myself comes on Christmas Day. So I said, man, this is hilarious. So I'm chilling, laughing it up. I'm like, oh man, physical reality is like the best amusement going on in the universe right now, in all realities. And I left. So I ended up getting to the station, coming back home. I had to go to work. I went to work, came back home. And as I was coming home, man, I was just a little bit tired, man, like just mentally, because I was like, damn, man, this person really tried to bring me down, man, on Christmas Day. Bad enough I had to work, god damn. So as I'm walking to the station, I was like, you know what? I've had it with these useless, human, pointless emotions that we just bounce around all the time, man. Like, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, we're all just human. And you know my feelings on that. We are not human. I keep telling y'all this. We're not human. We are multidimensional beings, and we're just having this silly little human experience because it is a valuable experience for other things to come. But for me, my thought way of thinking is like this. If we keep on saying, well, we're only just human, that's a cop-out. It's a cop-out to be weak. If you think of yourself from the standpoint of, I'm a multidimensional being, and one of the most powerful forces and creators in the universe, you don't really have much space to fuck up, because you're like, you don't want to fuck up, because it's like, all right, I'm a multidimensional being, I can handle this situation. You go to your outside point of view for all problems, and you say, all right, this is actually not a problem. It's a learning experience. How can I manipulate this and make it into something creative or fun for me? If you think it from the perspective of, oh, well, I'm only just a human, then you're giving yourself a way out, an out, so you can fuck up all the time. You say, well, I'm only just human, so I'm going to do drugs. Well, I'm only just human, so I can't stop drinking. Well, I'm only just human. And, just you keep making shit up, man, and excuses. So, yeah. Back to my story. We're not human, that's it. But yeah. So anyway, I'm walking to the home, and I'm like walking in the station, and I'm just laughing at life, chilling, looking at them. The funny thing about my walk was, the day before Christmas, through this underground, they got these underground kind of cities and shit in Japan. So I'm underground, they're putting up all these Christmas decorations, like real fast. And then I'm coming home on Christmas night, it's not even midnight, and they're tearing all this shit back down to put up the next holiday or whatever it was. So I'm like, damn, man, this is really a money marketing scheme. Another story for another time. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, man, I'm tired of all this pointless just waste of energy, man. These silly-ass human emotions and jealousy and just bullshit, man. So then my inner self kicks in. It's clear as day, internally. And he's like, are you ready? So I was like, oh shit, man. I was like, are you ready? Ready for what? He said, are you ready? It said, are you ready? It doesn't have any sex. It was like, are you ready? I said, ready for what? And it was like, are you ready? You said you're tired of all this stuff and you're ready to go to the next step. So are you ready to go to that next level? And I said, yeah. And it said, are you sure? Are you willing to make any sacrifices that need to be done to get to that level? So I'm like, God damn, man, what do I gotta do? Kill somebody? But nah, so I was like, yeah, man, I'm just tired. So I'm ready to move up in my abilities, man. I be doing all this nonsense. So it was like, okay. And that was it. So I was like, okay, what? It went silent. So I said, all right. So I went home, Christmas Day, got to the house, chilling. It wasn't even late. Had to be about maybe 12. I lay down, I'm sitting down looking at the internet, and suddenly I got this like tired spell, man. It hit me really hard, and I was like, damn. I was like, oh shit, what's going on? I feel sleepy. I'm not even tired. I'm not even sleepy. And it was really heavy, just like somebody drugged me. So I said, I'm just gonna lay my head down for a second. Bam, I was out cold. I was out, and next thing you know, I awakened in another reality. I was in the dream state. And I'm in this reality, and the moment I got there, it was already stuff happening, already taking place. So I got to the other reality. It was fully conscious when I got there. And I was like, damn, I gotta take a piss. I gotta pee. And I was like, I said, well, that's interesting. I'm sleeping on my bed, but I have to pee. Why do I have to pee in the other realms? But I thought, all right, I'll go with it. So I went into this public bathroom, and I started to use the toilet to pee. And then these two kids came in. Don't get crazy. It's not a bad story. But these two kids came in, and they had to be like teenagers. I don't know, maybe 12, 13. So one of them points at me as I'm peeing, and he goes, how do you feel to be an original? And I looked at him, and the moment he said that, all of these memories and it was fucking powerful, man. All these memories just came into me, and I knew what I was and who I was at that moment. And it was very interesting. It was very amazing. And I recognized my status in this reality. And then I looked at him and I said, well, the originals, that's one name, but we go by many. And I said, we're also called the Ancient Nameless Ones. And we're called that because we don't have any names. And we go by any name that we use with any... I'm paraphrasing, but I was basically like, we use whatever name that is best in whatever reality we enter that can get the point across, the teachings across to whatever personalities are there. So the names are meaningless. And I was like, yeah, we're the Ancient Nameless Ones. So then these two kids, one of his friends looked and he said, I don't believe you. And I said, well, you don't have to believe me, but your friend saw us and he knows how powerful we are and what our capabilities are. And his friend looked at him and was like, yeah, it's true, they're really strong. So I finished peeing. I was like, all right, kids, I'll see you later. And when I stepped outside, man, this is when it got powerful, man. There was, I could say millions, I don't know, but it was like an infinite number of human-like beings like my dad, look human like me. There was an infinite number of them all over, like, and they were all just standing, like, lined up on the ground, just rows and rows of people. And then they all took off into the sky and just started flying, man. And they all started manifesting. I mean, it wasn't chaos, but it was like people were manifesting, creating things. And I was really excited. I was like, fuck yeah, man, these are my people. This is where I belong. And I understood that this was the next level for myself. This is where I needed to be. And this was my lineage, and this is your lineage too. This is where we come from. These are creators. Now, we're all creators and stuff. So I started creating too. And then what happened was, then here comes some asshole, man. This guy's like, he's sitting in a chair, kind of like a throne room chair that manifested, I know. And he's like, basically, he was like, you know, I am God before all of you, and you all have to take orders from me and basically do what I say. And if anyone has a problem with it, step forward. You know me. So I was like, fuck that. We're not taking orders from you. As I was like, look, man, we're all gods, we're all creators, and we're all here equal. There's no need to have any power structures, any hierarchical structures, man. So then we got into a small spat, but it didn't last long. Like, we were gonna fight or like gonna have it out, but then something shifted and he was gone. So I was like, all right, well, that's good. So then I looked up in the air and I saw a vortex, and I said, well, interesting. There were 5 vortexes in a kind of row, kind of like Kundalini style and shit. I don't like these names, but something like that. And I flew through this vortex, and when I went through this vortex into this other reality, man, it was amazing. There were these kind of reptilian, humanoid kind of entities, and I understood that this was another reality that I had like some type of connection to, and I was analyzing them, and this wasn't, don't get into the whole reptilian thing, like all the evil entities, the Draco, they're trying to destroy us. It's none of that type of stuff. It's just, this was a type of reality where reptilian-like beings had evolved into a kind of humanoid state. So I got up close with this kind of like alligator, humanoid entity, creature, thing, and I was analyzing. I was like, wow, man, this thing looks amazing. And then I got bored because there wasn't much happening in this reality, so I flew back to the vortex and ended up right back to the previous reality. And I thought, well, this is interesting. I'm back where I came from. So I saw another vortex. I went through that one, and I ended up in the street in my old neighborhood back in America. So I was in this street, and I saw a car, and man, telekinesis was so powerful. It was just so easy. I just went like that and lifted up a car, held it in the air for about 30 seconds, and analyzed my control. And I pulled my hand into a fist, and I crushed it, and I gently set it down. Then I saw a building next to me with some people in it, and I motioned my hand, but accidentally, I brought the building down, man, like half of it, and I felt really bad. I was like, no, I didn't want to kill those people, because there was some people there. And then I had this thought form in my mind. It was like, you can recreate it. Use your power. You have the powers. So I motioned my hand again and brought the whole building back up and reconstructed it with the people still alive. And I was like, that is amazing. I've never done that before. Then there was another vortex. I said, I'm going to go through that one. I went through, and when I went through it, I was in a room with these kind of humanoid, doll-like looking people, man. And you know me, when things get weird or I feel threatened, I get a little violent. So I went into this reality, and the moment I saw these things, man, they looked weird. So I grabbed one of them by the throat, and I was going to tear his head off. But then he looked up at me, and he had this kind of like pitiful look in his eyes. He was very peaceful. And I gently let go of his throat. And I realized, I said to myself in this state, I said, man, these entities are not dangerous. They just look different. And at that moment, I had this second burst of all this knowledge of like how we can't just assume because something looks different or looks weird that it's out to get us. And when I came back to this reality, physical reality, I started writing, started just typing, man. My fingers were going crazy. I was writing all this stuff down. My voice was giving me information. And it was basically like Inner Soul was saying that this is the next stage, man, that you wanted. Oh, not to mention, I was in this reality that this was a short break. I was in there for like a long time, couple of hours. When I woke up, it was like an hour had passed. So I've been getting these experiences a lot recently where I'm going into other realities and I'm staying the course of a day. The longest one was like a whole day, 8 hours or something. And I went somewhere, traveled, took a bus, had dinner with somebody, watched a movie, watched a videotape. All this within the span of like an hour or 2 hours. So, yeah. But anyway, my inner self was basically saying that this is the next stage, the creator phase, man. The level of the creator. And when you get to that stage, you become more responsible with your powers. You're not just going into other realities, destroying shit and causing trouble. You're actually a creator now. And you're starting to manifest realities and recreate realities and just basically create things. Yeah, and I have a lot of other stuff that I wrote down. I can't get into it now, the iPad's down, but basically, yeah, this is something that we all can aspire to. Everybody, whoever's watching this video, there's a lot more to go, man. There's so much more stuff to get into, and you know, I'm not knocking anybody's work. Everybody has something to bring to the table. Everybody. People are doing great work out here, man. You got Russell Brand, Graham Hancock, Terrence McKenna, he's passed away, David Icke. There's just a lot of people. There's so many people with great stuff. But you can't get stuck on just one person because everybody's coming into this from their own level of understanding and just their own experiences also. There's no like levels. There's no levels. There's no hierarchy system. It's all about what you're experiencing. Everyone's experience is valid. Everyone's story is valid. It's just that's where they're at right now. And it's good that we tell these stories because you might be at their level. I understand the stuff I talk about sounds pretty fucking crazy. It does. I know it does. But what can I tell you, man? This is just my experience that I'm going through. And I have to tell these stories because this is one of my purposes being here is to share this information. And my stories might correlate with your stories, or they might not. But that's not important. What's important is I'm just simply showing you one of the different pathways that we can take in this reality. We don't have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't find the word now. But we don't have to just settle for this bullshit, man, like TV land and these pop stars and all this nonsense. There's more to it. And you don't have to settle for science. You don't have to settle for religion. Settle for your own experiences, man, because that's what's really going to take you into a whole nother world. Yeah, when we leave this place, I'm only giving you guys like a little things that I can remember off the top of my head right now, but I have stuff written down, man, just pages and pages and pages of information that I've got. And all of this is from my own experience, not getting it from some higher power. It's not getting it from, Aktu Srieki from the fucking Pleiadians or somewhere. This is coming from my inner self. And I know you might get confused because I sound like the inner self is a separate entity, but it's actually me. It's myself training myself. Kind of like future version of me, a little bit more advanced, well, very advanced, but it is myself. Souls, all this nonsense, talk about selling your soul to the devil. You can't fucking sell your soul. You are a soul. You are a soul. You don't have a soul, and a soul doesn't have you. You are a soul, and you can't sell it. It's like, you hear these people say, I sold my soul to the devil. If you sell your soul to anything, it doesn't mean you're selling your soul. It simply means you're fucking selling out. You're selling yourself out as a cop-out to do something that you're not brave enough to do yourself. So you need to have some kind of alibi to say, I sold my soul to Satan, and this is why I killed 10 people. No, you wanted to kill 10 people. That's what you chose, and that was your decision. Don't use the Satan thing Satan card as a cop-out, man. You can't sell your soul because you are a soul. And the soul, that's like a whole nother video, but I've probably made videos in the past about that, man. The soul is something that is beyond comprehension, but it's what we are. And it's a powerhouse of creativity. It has nothing to do with this angelic, you die and your soul rises to heaven. That's all bullshit, man. Don't listen to that nonsense. But yeah, a soul you're already a soul. We're simply here. Many people here are here to learn how to control this power. And there are a few others like me and myself and a few others who endlessly come here to spread this information, to get you to reawaken to what you already are. So like, yeah, this is my last time coming here. As far as reincarnating into this planet and all this stuff, I had enough of this place, man. I'm not knocking physical reality, but there's other things I want to do. And basically, the teachers, people who are teaching, or people who are bringing this message to other people who are realizing this, we are the people in our last reincarnations, or this is it for us as far as physical reality goes. And from here, we're going to go on to other stages. Like I said, there's an infinite number of things going on that you can get into once you leave physical reality. For me, it's going to be that creative phase, which I'm already practicing on now as far as creating my own mental states. Oh, man, I got some other stuff to tell you, man. And this stuff's going to get heavy, man. It's some real heavy stuff. The other day, I'm sitting down meditating. I'm in a deep meditation. So I'm in this meditation trance state. I got this other reality going on. And I'm having sex with somebody. And, this is my level of creativity. So I'm having sex with this person. And then it morphs into a second reality, and then a third. So I had 3 realities going on with me having sex with multiple people. Kind of like an orgy, a psychic mental orgy going on. Can't get any better than that. But I'm chilling with these 3 realities going on. I'm like, yeah, this is good. And the next thing you know, I'm getting this kind of physical tingling sensation, like I'm about to have a physical orgasm. I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. And man, it was about to happen. It was about to happen. It was right there, just about to, like, an explosion of orgasmic pleasure, right about to come out. And what happened was I got a little too creative, and I said, fuck it, I'm going to go for 4 realities. You know me, man. I laugh because I always fucking overdo it. I always push it. It's like, all right, I got 1 reality. No, 2, 3. Fuck it, I want 4, 5. So, I try to push the limit to 4 orgy realities. And once I hit the 4th one, I maintained it for a while, but then I lost this a sensation, but it was going to happen. So if you do research online, Lady Gaga claimed, I saw some article that she can have a mental orgasm. A lot of women have mental orgasms from the things that I saw online. You don't hear men doing it too much, but that's not saying it's impossible, because there is no really difference between male or female. Yeah, we're physically constructed differently, but mental is fucking mental, man, so we all have these psychic abilities. And yeah, it almost happened, man. So that's just something for you guys. Not just guys, I'm talking about, when I say guys, I mean in general, men and women, whoever. Something for you all to think about, that I've been doing this for a long time, and it's like there are other... This ties all back to the sexual transmutation video I made, the controversial video that made people upset. Let me stop. But yeah, the sexual transmutation video, man, where it goes into building up your sexual energy and not ejaculating and just holding it in and directing that into other levels of creativity. When you do it, when you have all this energy built up inside of you, like, that you just don't release. Like I said, I do release it, but that's only when I have some type of sexual intercourse. But if I'm not having physical sexual intercourse, I don't release this energy. I build it up. And somebody just sent me a message recently, man, saying that people always send me messages about how, oh my God, thank you. You taught me about that sexual transmutation video, and it works. The shit works. One of my close friends just told me over here, yo, man, I'm doing this, these exercises. I have this sudden burst of energy every day. So when you're working with that type of energy, you can start manifesting these other realities where you can have these other experiences. I could basically put it like that. I could sleep with whoever I want. Now, I'm not saying it's like that's the pinnacle of achievement to reach, but once you get to this level of creativity and creation where you could just manifest shit and go into these deep trance states, this is the type of stuff that's you can do. And I'm not saying that's the only thing to aspire to. I'm not telling people go out and harness your soul power so you can just have sex. That's not my message. But as physical creatures and as conscious beings, that is one of the pleasures that we like to indulge in. So why not? But yeah. So, and it's a different kind of sex, man. It's like, there's so many things. Like, we have these five senses with, touch, taste, smell, sight, and all this stuff, and we think that's it, but there's another level of sexuality that completely transcends the physical, where, just put it like, you could have orgasms, and I know there's a lot of people who will watch this that know what I'm talking about, especially women, because women, or people who appear to be women in this reality, tend to have more imagination abilities and faculties than others. But yeah, there are levels of sexuality that transcend the physical, and I'm talking about orgasms that could rival the power of 1,000 suns. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But anyway, that's another video. Now, I think I kind of went over this video. I got a little crazy because I'm excited. Not orgasmic excited, but I'm excited. Alright, I think I might end it now. I'll leave anything out. Quite sure I did. There's endless shit to talk about. There's endless things to share. Endless stories that I could give you, but I can only cram so much into one video. So yeah, I'll shut this one down, and if I come up with something else, then I'll reboot up and get into some other things. But this was basically, I don't even know what I'm going to title this video. This was basically kind of like touching base and reaching back out to the rest of my fellow entities out here, my other nameless ones, my other powerful beings or creators and creationists out here. Not creationists, but other powerful co-creators in this reality and other realities. And yeah, I'm just touching back to say I'm not dead. I'm still here. I haven't forgot all of y'all. And the lessons will keep going on. And they're not really lessons of teaching. They're basically me talking to you about my experiences to get you to reawaken to your own abilities and experiences. I'm just like, I'm a gatekeeper to help you into your own gates and point you in the direction back to yourselves. There's no real gates, there's no levels, there's no doors, there's no demons guarding any doors. You don't have to pay anybody. You don't have to pay back for karmic debts and all this other bullshit. I'm simply here, one of many who have manifested into this physical reality to help you reawake from this trance-like illusion state that you've been in for a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Love you all. Peace, love, and harmony as always, and get back at you later.